Captain Lena Oren leaned forward in her command chair, her eyes fixed on the screen glowing softly in front of her. The vast emptiness of space stretched beyond the ship's hull, dotted with stars that looked like tiny sparks against the darkness. Silence filled the bridge of the USS Horizon, broken only by the quiet hum of machinery and the soft footsteps of her crew. Lena's crew had been scanning the outskirts of the Vega sector for nearly 3 weeks. Nothing unusual had appeared until now. "Captain," said Lieutenant Rami, the communications officer, his voice tense but calm. "We are receiving an SOS signal." "Origin unknown," Lena's brow furrowed. SOS signals were rare, especially from regions this remote. Most signals were routine updates from colonies, distress calls from cargo ships, or automated warnings from satellites. But this was different. The signal had no identifiable source. It pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat from the dark, cold void. "Show me," Lena said. Rami adjusted the interface and the signal's pattern appeared on the main screen. It was a sequence of pulses, irregular but deliberate. Someone or something was sending a message. Lieutenant Rami shook his head slightly. "It's encrypted, Captain. We can't decode it fully yet, but it repeats the pattern several times. It's urgent." "Urgent," Lena repeated quietly, sensing the weight of the word. She had seen many emergencies in her career, but something about this felt different. She leaned back and studied the crew. Everyone else seemed excited, some even nervous. Curiosity flickered in their eyes. But Lena felt a cold weight in her stomach. She knew the first mistake humans often made in space, rushing to judgment. "Prepare an initial analysis," she ordered. "No action until we understand what this message is. I want every possibility considered." "Yes, Captain," Rami replied, already typing commands into the interface. But it was too late. Far away on Earth, news of the SOS signal had already reached certain factions that saw opportunity where others saw caution. Political leaders debated quickly. Military analysts interpreted the unknown as hostile, and ambitious generals whispered about conquest. Humanity, in its eagerness to survive and dominate, had decided to strike first. Back on the horizon, Lena's concern grew. The small fleet of reconnaissance ships was about to step into a situation far more dangerous than anyone realized. Hours passed as Rami worked with the ship's AI to decode fragments of the signal. Patterns emerged, symbols and sequences that suggested intelligence, but the meaning remained unclear. Lena observed silently, her instincts screaming that assumptions could be deadly. Finally, Rami turned to her, eyes wide. "Captain, partial decoding. It's a SOS, but I can't determine if it's a distress call or a warning. Some factions on Earth are already interpreting this as a hostile declaration." Lena's heart sank. "A warning? Or a plea?" she muttered. "We don't know," Rami hesitated. "Some suggest we treat it as a threat, Captain. It could be dangerous. Orders from the High Command say we should prepare for defensive action." Lena's jaw tightened. She knew what that meant. Once humans decided a potential enemy existed, hesitation was rare. Fear often turned into aggression, and in space fear could be lethal. Before she could respond, the ship's AI interrupted. "Captain Oren, additional readings from the Vega system indicate signs of life, structures, energy emissions. Not military, but habitation. Analysis suggests a non-human civilization." "Non-human?" Lena repeated, leaning forward. "Rami confirm." Rami nodded. "Confirmed, Captain. But High Command has already labeled them as potential enemies. They are dispatching additional fleets. Our orders: intercept, assess, and neutralize if necessary." Lena's heart pounded. Neutralize? Against beings who had sent a plea for help? She clenched her fists. Humanity had rushed to judgment just as she feared. "Captain, permission to contact them directly?" asked Ensign Miro, a young officer with sharp instincts and a brave heart. Lena shook her head. "No, Miro, direct contact is too dangerous right now. We don't know what they can do, and we don't want to provoke them. For now, observation only." Miro frowned, but he nodded. The tension on the bridge was almost unbearable. Every crew member understood the stakes. One wrong move could start a war before humanity even understood who or what they were dealing with. Outside, the stars seemed to blur as the horizon jumped closer to the source of the SOS. Lena watched the navigation readouts carefully, noticing faint traces of activity on distant planets. It wasn't military, but it was life. Families, structures, perhaps even cities, all waiting in quiet uncertainty. Hours later, Lena convened a private meeting with her senior officers. "Listen," she said, her voice firm but calm. "We have an SOS. We don't know if it's a warning or a call for help. High Command assumes threat, but I refuse to assume before we understand. Humanity's record in first contact is mixed at best. I will not allow us to make the same mistakes." Lieutenant Rami spoke up. "Captain, with all due respect, the fleet from Earth will arrive soon. They expect us to take action." "I know," Lena replied. "That is why we must gather all possible information before any fleet arrives. We must be ready to defend, yes, but also to prevent unnecessary bloodshed. If these beings are truly in danger, we cannot be the ones to cause their destruction." Ensign Myro added, "Captain, what if they think we are the threat? If we approach cautiously, they might interpret it as hesitation. Or fear." Lena's eyes hardened. "Then we proceed carefully but deliberately. We will show them we mean no harm, but we will not be defenseless. Humanity has intelligence, courage, and creativity. If they attack, we can fight, but I hope it does not come to that." Days passed as the horizon approached the alien system. Lena's crew remained vigilant. Every transmission they intercepted, every planetary scan was analyzed with care. They discovered strange structures, energy grids, and signs of a thriving civilization, but no weapons systems. No indication of hostility. And then late one night, the first distress signal from the alien surface reached them. Unlike the original SOS, this one was fragmented. Messages of confusion and fear, images of creatures fleeing strange disasters and pleas for assistance. Lena's stomach twisted. Humanity had misread the first message entirely. These beings were not declaring war. They were asking for help. Lena immediately tried to relay this to Earth. Her message was clear. "We misinterpreted the SOS. This civilization is not hostile. They need aid, not attack." The reply was cold and bureaucratic. "Await further instructions. Maintain readiness. Do not engage unless ordered. Assume possible threat." Lena slammed her fist on the table, frustration boiling inside her. Humanity's pride and fear had clouded reason. They were about to enter a dangerous system based on assumptions, not understanding. Yet Lena refused to give in to despair. She turned to her crew. "We will prepare for any eventuality, but our first priority is observation, understanding, and protection. If humanity misjudged, we must correct it before it is too late." And so the horizon moved deeper into the alien system, its crew unaware that other eyes were watching. Eyes that belonged not to the peaceful beings who had sent the SOS, but to predators, Deathworlders, who had sensed the arrival of unfamiliar ships in their territory. The first signs of danger had begun to stir. Lena could not know it yet, but the misread SOS was about to trigger events that would test humanity in ways they had never imagined. Courage, ingenuity, and resilience would be their only allies, and the mistakes of the past would not forgive them easily. The stars outside seemed brighter that night, as if they themselves were warning the humans in space. The smallest misunderstanding could become a battle for survival. Lena took a deep breath, her hands resting on the control panel. She whispered to herself, "We may have received the wrong message, but we will make the right choice." The horizon continued its silent journey into the unknown, carrying humanity's hope, fear, and determination into a system where the wrong hands had received the wrong message, and where destiny waited, patient and unforgiving. The USS Horizon moved silently through the Vega system, its sensors sweeping the planets below. Captain Lena Oren remained at her post, eyes scanning the displays, ears attuned to every signal. The system was alive with strange energies, but there were no visible ships, no signs of hostility. Yet Lena knew that appearances could be deceiving. "Captain," said Lieutenant Rami, breaking the quiet, "we are receiving more transmissions, fragments of the SOS, but it's different now." "There are images." "Of the planet's surface," Lena leaned forward. The screen flickered, revealing cities built of unfamiliar materials, glowing softly under alien suns. Creatures moved among the structures, tall, slender, and graceful. They carried objects, tended machines, and sometimes stared at the sky with wide, fearful eyes. "They're alive," Lena whispered. "And scared." "Scared?" "Captain?" Ensign Miro asked. "Why would they be scared of us?" "They don't know us," Lena replied. "And we've already misread their first message. That's the danger. Our own assumptions may bring harm before we understand their reality. Rami frowned. Some of the images show injuries, destruction, but no weapons. It looks like they've suffered from natural disasters. Lena's stomach twisted. Humanity was rushing in, ready to fight a war that didn't exist, and the aliens, innocent, advanced, and fragile, were already victims of misunderstanding. Send a reconnaissance probe, Lena ordered. Keep it small, remote. I want data, not conflict. The probe launched, a tiny ship darting silently toward the largest city on the planet below. The camera feed showed the aliens moving quickly, gathering survivors, tending to what appeared to be injured younglings. Lena studied the footage, heart heavy. These beings had asked for help, and yet humanity had interpreted their plea as aggression. Captain, Rami said hesitantly, I'm detecting human fleet signals entering the system. High Command has sent reinforcements. Lena's face tightened. How many? 3 additional battle groups. They'll arrive in 12 hours. Their instructions: intercept, assess, neutralize, if necessary, neutralize. The word hung in the bridge like a cloud of smoke. Lena could feel her crew stiffen. Every officer understood what that meant. A preemptive strike against a civilization that hadn't harmed anyone. We need to act fast, Lena said. We have to find a way to communicate before they arrive. We can't let another fleet make the same mistake. Ensign Miro nodded. Captain, I can try sending a translation sequence. Maybe they can understand us before the humans do anything rash. Do it, Lena ordered. Use images, sounds, anything universal. Music, light patterns, anything that shows we mean no harm. Rami worked with Miro, assembling visual sequences that represented peaceful intent. Flowing lights, shapes resembling friendly gestures, even simple representations of their own crew helping one another. Lena watched closely, her hands gripping the console. It was a gamble, but it was the only chance to prevent disaster. Hours passed. The probe sent back more images, showing the aliens observing the sky, pointing at the stars and occasionally pausing as if sensing something was wrong. Lena's heart ached. The miscommunication had already spread fear. Captain, Rami said suddenly, there's a new transmission. It's different. Not like the SOS? Lena leaned in. The screen displayed alien symbols rapidly changing. The AI attempted a rough translation. Help? Humans? Safe? They're asking if we are the ones who sent help, Lena whispered. They don't know who we are yet. They've only seen the other humans arriving. Miro's hands trembled slightly over the controls. If they think we're the attackers. We won't let that happen, Lena said firmly. We'll make first contact ourselves, but carefully. Not as a threat, not as a conqueror, but as friends if they will accept it. The Horizon lowered a shuttle, small and unarmed, toward the planet. Lena herself stayed behind, commanding from the bridge, but her heart went with the shuttle's crew. They carried universal symbols of peace, supplies, and communication devices designed to show goodwill. Below, the aliens watched. They had never seen ships like these before. At first, their fear was evident, but curiosity flickered in their eyes. They could sense no weapons, only light, motion, and an intent that differed from the human fleet already preparing for battle. The shuttle touched down in a field outside the nearest city. The air shimmered as protective fields engaged, sensing the unknown presence. Slowly, the crew stepped out, hands raised in the universal gesture of peace. From the city, a small delegation of aliens emerged. They were cautious but intelligent, moving with careful steps, scanning the humans for signs of threat. One of them, taller than the others, stepped forward, head tilted curiously. Its gestures were subtle but deliberate, a sign of communication. Lena watched from orbit. Rami, are they responding positively? Uncertain, Captain, Rami replied. Their body language? Cautious but not hostile. They seem curious. Encouraged, Lena sent additional signals, patterns of light and sound designed to show cooperation. The aliens hesitated, then mirrored some of the gestures, tiny movements of hands and lights. It was a fragile start, but a start nonetheless. But the humans below were unaware that the larger fleet from Earth was already approaching. Battle groups armed with weapons of immense destructive power moved into the system with the expectation of engaging an enemy. The crew of the Horizon knew nothing of their approach. Captain, Rami said, voice tight. They're on sensors. 3 fleets. Weapons active. They are interpreting the system as hostile. Lena's eyes narrowed. How close? Too close. They'll arrive in less than 10 hours. Lena's mind raced. She had a choice. She could attempt to communicate with the incoming fleets, but the message might be ignored. Or she could continue trying to establish contact with the aliens directly, hoping to gain trust before the first shots were fired. We continue, she said finally. We show the aliens we are not a threat. We'll try to slow the other fleets, but above all, we must prevent a disaster. As the hours ticked by, the humans and aliens slowly exchanged signals. The alien delegation began to understand that these newcomers were different from the ships already entering the system. They offered supplies, guidance, and signs of welcome. The shuttle crew's relief was palpable. "Captain," said Lieutenant Rami, "they're responding. They're helping us." "Yes," Lena replied, her eyes shining with determination. "This is what humanity can be, curious, brave, and willing to make peace. But we must act quickly. Every minute counts." Suddenly, sensors detected movement at the edge of the system, faint but unmistakable. A large fleet, not human, moving fast. Lena's heart skipped a beat. "Captain," Rami said, voice sharp, "we have unknown contacts entering the system. Not human. They're large, hostile signature unknown." Lena's face hardened. "Get a visual. Prepare for anything." The screen flickered as the first images came through. Massive ships, jagged and armored, moved through space with terrifying speed and precision. The Deathworlders had arrived. These were the real threat, the predators of the galaxy. Drawn to the system by energy signatures and movement, Lena realized the truth. Humanity had already misread the SOS, but now a true enemy was on its way. They were caught between misunderstood aliens and a predator species far more dangerous than anyone could imagine. She stood, gripping the console. "All hands prepare for engagement. Shields full, weapons ready, but no aggression unless necessary. We protect, we observe, we survive. Humanity must prove its worth not through fear but through courage and intelligence." Rami nodded, adjusting sensor arrays. "Captain, I hope we're ready." Lena looked out at the stars where the incoming Deathworlder fleet appeared as ominous shadows against the bright cosmos. She whispered to herself, "We may have misread the first message, but we will not fail the second. Humanity will survive. Humanity will fight. Humanity will prove itself." The horizon hovered at the edge of the alien world, its crew ready to face the consequences of their own caution, and the mistakes of those who had sent more humans into the system without understanding. And above all, Lena knew one thing. First contact was never simple and in the wrong hands. A call for help could become the spark of a war none of them wanted. But humanity was ready to show what it could do, even against impossible odds. The USS Horizon trembled as the first signals of the Deathworlder fleet intensified. Lena Oren gripped the console, her knuckles white. Outside the viewport, massive shadowy ships moved with an ominous grace, their jagged silhouettes cutting across the stars. These were no ordinary adversaries. The Deathworlders were predators, ruthless, fast, and cunning. Humanity had misread one SOS, but now they faced a threat that required every ounce of skill, courage, and ingenuity they possessed. "Captain," Lieutenant Rami said, voice tight, "the fleet is closing rapidly. Their numbers, I can't estimate accurately. Too large, too fast." Lena's eyes narrowed. "Prepare shields. Activate defensive formations. We protect the shuttle and the alien settlement at all costs." Outside, the aliens had begun evacuating the cities. Tall, elegant beings moved with speed and precision, lifting their injured and guiding children toward hidden underground shelters. Lena had ordered her shuttle crew to help, but their movements were limited. They could not interfere too much, not yet. Humanity's first duty was to survive, and only then could they protect others. "Captain," Rami continued, "they're scanning us. I don't think they understand our intentions yet." Lena took a deep breath. "Then we make our actions speak. Focus on defense, Rami. Show them we are not easy prey, but do not engage unless necessary. Humanity's survival depends on our intelligence as much as our firepower." The Deathworlder fleet made the first move. One massive ship fired a pulse that lit up space like a lightning strike. The horizon shuddered, but its shields held. Lena realized quickly these were no ordinary weapons. The pulses were designed to probe, to test strength, and perhaps to intimidate. "Report," Lena demanded. Lieutenant Rami's fingers flew across the console. "Shields at 80%. Hull integrity stable. They're circling us. almost like they're measuring our response. Lena frowned. They're intelligent, she said quietly. This is not a random attack. They want to know what we can do. Humans need to show strength but also wit. We cannot fight them directly, too many of them, but we can outthink them. Ensign Miro spoke up. Captain, what about the aliens? They're still in the open. Should we bring them to the shuttle? Yes, Lena said. Prepare evacuation drones. Coordinate with the aliens. Every second counts. The shuttle crew worked quickly, linking energy guides to the alien shelters. The aliens moved cautiously, but when they saw the humans helping, their hesitation faded. A bond began to form, fragile but real. Lena felt a spark of hope. Humanity could do this. They could protect life while facing a predator that seemed unstoppable. Suddenly, a new signal appeared on the sensors, an approaching Deathworlder ship, larger than any before, moving faster than predicted. Lena's stomach sank. They're flanking us, Rami said. Captain. They're surrounding the planet. It's a trap. Lena clenched her jaw. Then we make them regret underestimating us. Target their sensor arrays first. Disrupt communications. Confuse them. We don't have to destroy them to survive, we just have to outsmart them. The crew followed her orders, their fingers moving with practiced speed. Beams of energy from the horizon targeted the flanks of the Deathworlder fleet, hitting critical sensor nodes and causing explosions that threw their coordination into chaos. The massive ships faltered, sending ripples of turbulence through the surrounding space. Lena allowed herself a brief smile. Humanity was clever. Even against a superior enemy, strategy and creativity could level the odds. But the Deathworlders adapted quickly. They emitted pulses that scrambled the shields, forcing the horizon to shift energy to compensate. One massive strike slammed into the ship's hull, sending vibrations through the deck. Crew members stumbled, alarms blared, and the ship shook violently. Captain, Rami shouted. Hull integrity down to 65%. They're testing us! We can't hold this forever. Lena's mind raced. She remembered the aliens below, vulnerable and terrified. She had to find a solution, something unexpected, something the Deathworlders could not predict. Ensign Miro, she barked, prepare the plasma decoy pods. Launch them in a spiral pattern around the main fleet. Draw them away from the planet. Make them chase shadows, Miro's eyes lit up. Yes, Captain. Pods ready! The pods launched, spinning through space like tiny glowing stars. The Deathworlder ships, sensing energy signatures, diverted toward the decoys. For a moment, chaos became their ally. Now, Lena ordered. Evacuation drones, move the aliens underground. Shields up around the shuttle. The shuttle moved quickly, its small engines firing with precise bursts. Aliens followed, trusting the humans despite the fear still lingering in their eyes. Lena's heart swelled with pride. Humanity had the courage to act even when facing uncertainty, but the Deathworlders were relentless. After a brief distraction, they regrouped and began another coordinated strike. The horizon's shields took heavy fire. Explosions rocked the ship, panels scorched, and sparks flew across the bridge. Captain, we can't hold them for long, Rami shouted. We need reinforcements. Lena shook her head. We are the reinforcements. And we are human. That means we find a way. She activated the ship's experimental tactics module, a device designed to analyze enemy patterns and generate unpredictable responses. Lights flashed, calculations streamed across the screens. The horizon moved in ways no one expected, shifting in three-dimensional maneuvers, firing energy pulses from angles the Deathworlders had not predicted. The alien delegation below watched, their eyes wide. They had never seen such tactics, such daring. The humans were dangerous, yes, but also fearless, brilliant, and alive with ingenuity. One Deathworlder ship fired a massive pulse that should have destroyed the shuttle. Lena acted instantly. Divert all energy to shields, full power to forward deflectors. The shields flared like a miniature star. The pulse struck, but instead of tearing through, it bounced off, scattering into space. A cheer erupted from the Horizon's crew. Lena allowed herself a brief, satisfied smile. But she knew the fight was far from over. The Deathworlders were patient hunters, relentless and intelligent. Every moment they delayed, humanity gained experience, but they could not afford mistakes. One misstep, one wrong assumption, and the aliens could die and the Horizon could be destroyed. Captain, Rami said, voice low, we've been tracking their movement patterns. They're using the system's gravity to funnel us toward the planet. If they succeed, the shuttle and aliens could be trapped. Lena's eyes hardened. Then we turn the trap into a weapon. Fire a sequence to destabilize their formation. Make them think the planet's gravity will crush us, and then we use it against them. The crew executed her plan. Energy pulses and carefully timed maneuvers caused several Deathworlder ships to collide with each other or misalign in their orbit. Their massive fleet stumbled, creating openings. The aliens, watching the humans' bravery, began to trust them. Some even attempted to communicate directly, offering guidance about the system's hazards, mineral fields, energy storms, and gravitational anomalies that could be used tactically. Lena incorporated every piece of information, blending alien knowledge with human creativity. "Captain," Miro said, voice filled with awe, "they're helping us. They actually want to fight alongside us." "Yes," Lena said quietly. "We're not just humans. We're humans and allies now. That is our strength." The Deathworlders regrouped again, larger and faster than before. But the horizon was ready. Human ingenuity, combined with alien insight, created an unpredictable force. Every move was clever, every response calculated. The Deathworlders began to falter, not because they were weak, but because humans were impossible to anticipate. For hours, the battle continued. Explosions lit the void. Energy beams cut through darkness, and the stars themselves seemed to tremble. The humans never gave up. Even as shields faltered and hulls groaned, Lena's leadership inspired her crew. They moved not out of fear, but determination. Humanity had made mistakes before, but in the face of true danger, they were proving what they could achieve. As the first phase of the Deathworlder attack ended, both humans and aliens had survived. The shuttle was safe. The aliens were secure underground, and the horizon had held its ground. Lena knew this was only the beginning. The Deathworlders would not retreat easily. But she also knew one undeniable truth. Humanity, with courage, intelligence, and cooperation, had faced the impossible and had endured. "Prepare for the next wave," Lena ordered. "We've shown them what humans can do. Now let's show them what humans and allies together can achieve." The stars stretched endlessly ahead, but Lena felt a surge of hope. Humanity had made mistakes, yes, but they had also proven themselves. And in the coming battles, their creativity, bravery, and determination would be the key to survival. Because when the galaxy tested humanity, humanity did not bend. Humanity adapted, humanity fought, and humanity would survive. The USS Horizon floated silently above the alien world, its hull scarred from the first encounters with the Deathworlder fleet. The crew worked tirelessly, repairing shields, recalibrating weapons, and preparing for the inevitable next wave. Yet despite the chaos, a new feeling had begun to take hold, a fragile hope. The aliens, once wary, were beginning to see the humans not as intruders but as allies. Captain Lena Oren stood on the bridge, studying the readouts. The alien cities below had been evacuated, their inhabitants now safe in subterranean shelters. Above, the Deathworlders circled the system, calculating, hunting, and waiting for mistakes. Humanity could not afford mistakes, and Lena knew that alone. Her small fleet would be unable to hold the line. "Captain," Lieutenant Rami said, pointing to the main display, "we've established limited communication with the aliens. They've agreed to meet with us on neutral ground. They want to discuss joint defense strategies." Lena exhaled, a rare moment of relief. "Good, prepare a shuttle. I want to attend personally. This alliance is our best chance to survive. If we act together, we can turn the tide." The shuttle descended to a secluded plateau on the planet, far from the cities and away from the prying eyes of the Deathworlders. Lena stepped out, the alien delegation waiting. They were taller and more elegant than she had imagined, their skin shimmering slightly under the light of the planet's sun. Their leader, a being named Kale, stepped forward. His gestures were deliberate and precise, his eyes holding a mixture of fear and hope. "Captain Lena," Kyle began in careful but clear speech, "we have observed your actions. You do not behave like the others. You are different." "We make mistakes," Lena replied, "but we also learn from them. Your species sent an SOS, humanity misread it. That is our fault, and we will do what we can to correct it." Kyle's eyes flickered with understanding. "We accept your intention, but the predators, Deathworlders, they are relentless. Alone we would fall quickly, together. Perhaps we have a chance," Lena nodded. "That is why we are here. We fight together. We combine our strengths. Your knowledge of the planets, your understanding of the hazards, and our ingenuity and determination. Together we can survive. The aliens led Lena and her shuttle crew through maps of the system. They pointed out dangerous gravitational anomalies, mineral-rich fields that could interfere with the Deathworlder ships, and energy currents that could be used for rapid strikes. Lena's mind raced, absorbing every detail. Humans had creativity, but the aliens had experience in this system. If they combined their talents, they might just have a chance. Back aboard the Horizon, Lena briefed her crew. "Listen carefully," she said. "This is no longer just human space. We are allies now. The Deathworlders are powerful, but they are predictable in some ways. We use their strength against them. We will defend the planet, we will protect the aliens, and we will show the galaxy what humanity can do." The crew worked feverishly. Engineers recalibrated weapons. Programmers modified targeting systems based on alien guidance, and tactical officers ran simulations for every possible scenario. Every moment, Lena reminded herself, counted. Humanity had misread one SOS, but this time they would not make another mistake. The Deathworlders launched their next assault just as dusk fell on the planet. Massive energy pulses lit up the void and ships moved with terrifying precision. Lena's voice rang out across the Horizon's bridge. "Shields at maximum. Fire only when necessary. Remember your training and trust your instincts." The first wave struck, testing the humans' new strategies. Using the alien-provided data, Lena directed the Horizon in maneuvers the Deathworlders did not anticipate. They exploited gravitational anomalies, forcing enemy ships into collisions and forcing others to flee from the planet's energy fields. Humanity's ingenuity was on full display, and it worked. "Captain," Rami shouted, pointing to the display. "They're adapting. They're analyzing our patterns." "Then we change patterns," Lena snapped back. "Unpredictability is our weapon. Let's move." Shields flared as the Horizon twisted and darted through space, firing pulses that mimicked the natural hazards of the system. Deathworlder ships collided, forced into defensive maneuvers, and one massive vessel even miscalculated an orbital shift, crashing into an asteroid field. The humans' plan was working. On the planet below, the aliens watched in awe. They had never imagined such creativity, such daring. Humanity was unpredictable, fearless, and remarkably resourceful. And for the first time, the aliens felt hope, not just for survival, but for the future of their partnership. "Captain Lena," Kale communicated via the shuttle, "your species is astonishing. We have observed many, but none with your courage. Together we may endure what we cannot alone." Lena's lips pressed into a determined line. "We have to. There is no other choice." Hours passed as the battle continued. The humans and aliens coordinated seamlessly, exchanging real-time strategies. The Deathworlders were relentless, but the combined forces created chaos in their ranks. One by one, their coordinated attacks faltered. Humanity had turned disadvantage into opportunity, ingenuity into strength. But Lena knew the fight was far from over. The Deathworlders were patient hunters. They would not retreat easily. They were testing not just strength, but intelligence, adaptability, and courage. And humanity was proving all three. During a brief lull, Lena addressed her crew. "Listen, everyone. What we are doing here is more than defense. It is proof. Proof that humans can adapt, that we can think beyond fear, that we can survive against impossible odds. We are making history. Not just for humanity, but for our allies and for anyone who believes courage and intelligence can change fate." Rami nodded. "Captain, the aliens are ready to contribute more. They have energy conduits that could amplify our weapon systems, create shockwaves in space. It's risky, but it could turn the tide." "Do it," Lena said. "Risk is part of survival. We'll face it together." The aliens activated the conduits and energy flowed through the Horizon systems. Pulses fired into space with precision and power, hitting the Deathworlder fleet in ways no human or alien weapon alone could achieve. Ships faltered, formations collapsed, and the tide of battle shifted. Lena's heart swelled. Humanity, working with allies, had created something extraordinary. It was not brute force, it was intelligence, creativity, and courage. The Deathworlders were strong, but humans had something they could not predict: innovation under pressure. Yet Lena remained vigilant. "Stay focused," she shouted. "Do not let relief make us careless. We survive together, or we perish together." The combined fleet launched a final coordinated strike. Using alien knowledge, human ingenuity, and precise timing, They managed to push the Deathworlders out of the immediate orbit of the planet. Not all enemy ships were destroyed, but the immediate threat was mitigated. For the first time, both humans and aliens could breathe, knowing that survival was possible. On the planet, the aliens emerged from their shelters. Families reunited and a quiet cheer echoed across the plains. The humans had not only defended them, they had earned their trust. Lena watched from orbit, her eyes reflecting the planet below. Humanity had made mistakes, yes, but this alliance had shown the galaxy a truth she had always believed. Humans could rise above fear and chaos, combining courage and intelligence to overcome impossible odds. Kale's voice came through the comms once more. Captain Lena, humanity has proven itself. We are honored to fight alongside you. Together we are stronger than any predator. Lena allowed herself a small smile. We fight together, Kale, and we will continue to fight. Not because we must, but because we can. That is what humanity and our allies do. As the horizon drifted in orbit, repairing and preparing for the next encounter, Lena reflected on what had happened. Misreading the SOS had nearly led to disaster. But courage, creativity, and cooperation had turned near failure into survival. Humanity had made allies, demonstrated bravery, and begun to show the galaxy what it truly meant to endure. And in the distance, beyond the edge of the system, the remaining Deathworlders regrouped. They had not been defeated, they had been delayed. The next battle would come, but Lena had no fear. Humanity had faced the impossible before, and they would do it again. With allies, with strategy, and with courage, they would endure. The stars shone brightly overhead, and Lena whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning. Humanity has learned, adapted, and survived, and we will continue to do so no matter what comes next." The alliance of necessity had been forged in fire, and it would define the future. Together, humans and aliens were a force the Deathworlders could not easily predict, and a force that would prove the galaxy had underestimated humanity at its peril. The USS Horizon hovered above the alien world, its hull bearing the scars of battle, and its shields flickering from the energy of the last skirmishes. Captain Lena Oren stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the display. The Deathworlder fleet had regrouped, larger and faster than before, moving like a shadow over the system. But Lena was ready. Humanity, together with their alien allies, had prepared for this moment. This was the fight that would define not only the survival of the alien civilization, but also humanity's place in the galaxy. "Captain," Lieutenant Rami said, voice steady but tense, "the Deathworlders are advancing in 3 separate squadrons. They intend to surround the planet and cut off escape routes." Lena nodded. "Then we must be faster, smarter, and bolder than they expect. All units, synchronize with the aliens. This is our chance to show what humans and allies can do when we fight together." Shuttle crews transmitted final coordinates to the alien defense teams underground, while the Horizon and smaller human vessels took positions in orbit. The aliens shared their knowledge of the planetary systems, revealing energy currents, gravity wells, and mineral clusters that could be used strategically. Lena studied every detail, creating a plan that combined human ingenuity with alien experience. "Captain," Miro said, "we can use the mineral fields near the outer planets to create a trap. If we lure the Deathworlders in, we could isolate their squadrons one by one." "Yes," Lena replied, her mind racing. "We turn their strength against them. They expect brute force. We give them strategy." The Deathworlders struck first. Massive pulses lit the void, shaking the horizon violently. Alarms blared, and crew members scrambled to their stations. Energy beams sliced through space, testing shields and probing defenses. But the humans had anticipated this. "Divert all energy to forward deflectors," Lena ordered. "Engage evasive maneuvers along predicted gravity paths." The ship twisted and darted unpredictably, weaving through energy currents with a precision the Deathworlders had not anticipated. Pulses fired from the horizon targeted key nodes of the enemy ships, forcing them into misalignment. One Deathworlder vessel collided with an asteroid, while another was caught in a gravity vortex spinning out of control. "Captain, it's working," Rami shouted. "They're falling into the trap." Lena allowed herself a brief smile, but her eyes remained sharp. The fight was not over. The Deathworlders were relentless, and one mistake could turn the battle into disaster. "Prepare the shuttle team," Lena ordered. "They must intercept any survivors who might escape the outer fields. We cannot allow the Deathworlders to regroup." The shuttle crews working alongside alien units moved swiftly and with precision. They guided fleeing alien civilians to safety while cutting off the Deathworlders' escape routes. Humanity's ingenuity, speed, and adaptability were on full display. Every decision was calculated, every movement unpredictable, and every action carried the weight of survival. Suddenly, a massive Deathworlder cruiser emerged from the outer system, larger than any ship the humans had seen. Its energy output was immense, capable of overwhelming even the Horizon's shields. "Lieutenant Rami," Lena said, her voice calm but firm, "we need a diversion. Full power to plasma decoys. Deploy in a spiral formation. Draw it toward the mineral fields." Miro's fingers flew across the console. "Decoys deployed, Captain." Spiral pattern engaged. The Deathworlder cruiser, sensing multiple energy signatures, followed the decoys, unaware of the trap waiting in the mineral fields. Gravity wells and energy currents twisted around it, forcing the massive vessel into unpredictable paths. Its engines strained, shields flickered, and the humans waited, poised for the final strike. "Captain," Rami said, "the cruiser is destabilized. Its systems are failing under the gravitational interference." "Good," Lena replied. "Now all units fire at maximum. Target their engines and shields. Hit them together. Human and alien forces synchronize perfectly." Energy beams, missiles, and alien plasma pulses converged on the Deathworlder cruiser. Explosions lit the void as the massive vessel shuddered, sparks flying across its hull. Systems failed, engines overloaded, and with a final pulse of energy, the cruiser was destroyed. The remaining squadrons faltered, retreating under the relentless assault. The crew of the Horizon cheered. Humanity had done it. They had faced an enemy that seemed unbeatable and had triumphed, not through sheer strength alone, but through intelligence, courage, and cooperation. On the planet below, the aliens emerged from their shelters, cautiously at first, then with growing confidence. Families reunited and celebrations began as hope returned to their hearts. They had survived thanks to the humans who had misread their SOS, learned from it, and risen to meet the true challenge. Kyle, the alien leader, contacted Lena through the shuttle. "Captain Lena, humanity has proven itself beyond expectation. Your species is remarkable. We owe you our lives." Lena's lips pressed into a determined smile. "We only did what was necessary. Courage, intelligence, and cooperation, these are what humanity can offer. Together we are stronger than any predator." But Lena knew this victory, while significant, was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast and danger would come again. Humanity had shown what it could do under pressure, but survival would always require adaptation, learning, and courage. "Captain," Miro said, looking at the stars. "They're retreating. The Deathworlders are pulling back. We've won." "Yes," Lena replied, her eyes reflecting the distant light of stars. "But this is not just a victory. It is proof. Humanity can survive even against overwhelming odds. We can protect, we can learn, and we can fight. Not just for ourselves, but for others as well." Rami nodded. "Captain, the alien cities are secure. They are beginning repairs. They look to us for guidance. They trust us." Lena's heart swelled. Trust was earned, and humanity had earned it. Not through fear, not through force, but through courage, intelligence, and the willingness to rise above mistakes. "Prepare a message to High Command," Lena ordered. "Tell them the SOS was misread, but humanity has proven itself. Tell them we have allies now, and that survival is not just about firepower. It is about ingenuity, cooperation, and courage. Humanity will not fail again." The Horizon floated silently above the planet, its crew exhausted but triumphant. The alien allies below were alive and safe, and the Deathworlders had retreated for now. Humanity had survived the impossible, and in doing so, had shown the galaxy the true power of their species. Lena looked out at the stars, the endless expanse of space stretching before her. She whispered to herself, "We received the wrong message, but we made the right choice. Humanity has learned, adapted, and survived, and we will continue to do so, no matter what comes next." The alien world, once threatened by miscommunication and predation, now thrived with renewed hope. Humanity had proven that even when mistakes were made, courage, intelligence, and determination could turn near disaster into triumph. The SOS that was misunderstood had led not to destruction, but to survival, alliance, and proof of what humans were capable of. As the Horizon prepared to depart, Lena addressed her crew one last time. We've shown what humans can do, fearless, resourceful, and capable of extraordinary courage. This is our legacy. Remember it and carry it wherever the stars take us next. The crew cheered, their spirits high. They had survived, they had learned, and they had proven that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. Not just in battle, but in intelligence, strategy, and heart. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown threats and endless challenges, but humanity had a new reputation now, one forged in courage, forged in alliance, and forged in the fire of survival. And Captain Lena Oren knew one thing for certain. Wherever the stars led them next, humanity would rise. Humanity would endure. Humanity would prevail, because when faced with impossible odds, humans did not flee. Humans adapted. Humans fought and humans survived.